Today, I'm gonna show you the best and most practical hairstyle for every single sport. Oh, and this is a part 2 by the way, so if you haven't seen the first part, go check that out too. Starting off with the first sport, we have track and cross country. So with track and cross country, I wouldn't go with long hair, medium hair, or anything with bangs. I think if you play either of these sports, you have to have a hairstyle that's low maintenance and a hairstyle that won't get in your face whenever you're running, jumping, or throwing. That actually reminds me, I saw this TikTok that explains my point perfectly.
Welcome to the science of hair. And this. And a little of that.
I mean, my guy is literally adjusting his hair at the very beginning of the race. Now I know what you're thinking, oh, just wear a headband or put your hair up or put this in your hair or put that in your hair. No, I mean, just think about it. It's a hot sunny day, you've been outside all day, and your hair is all sweaty and gross in a drenched headband, which to me is just pretty disgusting. And why go through all of that when there's a much better alternative, like a crew cut or a short taper fade? Because with these two hairstyles, you can still look good and you don't have to worry about super long, nasty, sweaty hair. And while you're running, you don't have to worry about putting your hair in a headband or putting your hair up. No, nothing. Now on to sport number 3 is lacrosse. Okay, so listen, I'm gonna have 2 different categories for lacrosse. So we have the practical hairstyle, and then there's the, it looks really cool, but probably not too practical side. So the most practical hairstyle for lacrosse is a crew cut or an undercut with a short top. And the reason for this is because you won't have any troubles getting your hair pulled or tangled while you're playing. And you also won't have any problems with putting your helmet on if you have these practical hairstyles. But all right, screw all that. Let's go to the fun stuff now. And I'm of course talking about the mullet. The modern mullet looks so sick with the lacrosse helmet. I mean, honestly, even without the lacrosse helmet, it still looks pretty sick.
Oh my God, boy, he got a Glock. Oh my God, boy, that boy on top. Sip and walk, make my heart stop.
And if you don't have naturally curly hair like that kid did, then you can go for someone more like Paul Ravel, which is a super dope hairstyle as well. Now moving on to sport number 4, we have weightlifting. Not sure if this is considered a sport. Like, I know there's weightlifting competitions, but I'm not talking about that in this video. I'm mainly just talking about me and you, the guys who just go to the gym. So, all right, you guys are gonna have to hear me out on this one. But having long, flowy hair in the gym is elite. Okay, so for context, I used to be a huge Alex Eubank fanboy. I mean, I literally grew my hair out exactly like him because I was a big fan and his hair is just super sick. And even you gotta admit, like, that hair just adds that sort of uniqueness that you don't see every day. And you pair that hair with a nice physique and then boom, you are literally just that guy. Now, what I did realize is when you do have long hair in the gym, it gets in your face and in your eyes all the freaking time, which is super annoying. So what I found to be even better than the Alex Eubank haircut was growing it out to that length, but putting it up into the Eren Yeager bun. So if y'all don't know, Eren Yeager is an anime character who's honestly just a badass. And I know this kind of sounds cringe, but don't knock it until you try it. But when you rock a hairstyle like that in the gym, you feel like you're an anime character. I know, super cringe, but I swear, it makes you train harder, the pump is nastier. Try it out. Moving on to sport number 5, we have volleyball. So for volleyball, you're either constantly jumping, spiking, or diving at the ball. So basically, you probably just want hair that's out of the way. But come on, man, let's be honest, that's boring. Look at my guy Joshua Weyerhaeuser. He's rocking this like wavy middle part and it looks so freaking clean.
In your snide is pleasure, boom, she pleasure.
And if you guys scroll down in the comments, the girls are in love with this dude. And I think the length that he has is perfect because it's not too long to where it'd get all in his face and eyes. And if you're not someone with naturally wavy hair like that, I'd recommend using a sea salt spray. And what I would do is right before I'd go out to play, I'd spray about 8 to 10 sprays of sea salt spray all throughout my hair, scrunch it up. And whenever you start to play, that sweat will mix in with the sea salt spray and I guarantee you, you'll get some sort of wave. Now into sport number 6, we got fencing. So I'll be honest, whenever I think of fencing, I think of this like rich kid sport, and it's a very elegant kind of sport. Basically a sport for rich kids. I'm just gonna put it out there. And I know I could be wrong, so go ahead, roast me in the comments, don't care. But just whenever I picture someone doing fencing, I just picture this white kid with like a side part or like a lick back look. And don't get me wrong, this is a super clean look. Like it really gives off that old money aesthetic vibe. And also these hairstyles are very practical for fencing, because whenever you put on that fencing mask, it's not going to interfere with your hair at all, and your hair should stay in place. And just a few tips if you do want to get this look for fencing, I'd use a few styling products. So if you're wanting that slick back look, I'd recommend using something like a pomade or a clay. And if you're going for the side part, I'd recommend either a pomade or a putty. Now on to sport number 7, we have auto racing. So auto racers wear helmets in the hot sun and the hot car. So long hair is probably a no-go, but it's not, because all of the top drivers have some sort of long hair, and specifically the mullet. Once again, I mean, just look at some of the best NASCAR drivers like Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney, Jeff Gordon. All of them had a mullet at some point, and I'm sure I could name hundreds of more. Legit, just so many of them. So I totally get it. If you want to fit that aesthetic, then go for a mullet. But something like a buzz cut or like a crew cut or like a short fade just seems way more practical to me, at least. Because these hairstyles will fit comfortably under the helmet. And most importantly, you're not going to sweat like a crazy person in that hot sun and hot car. Well, no, that's not true. You still will sweat like crazy, but at least your hair's not going to be all nasty. And it might still be a little bit nasty, but not as bad if it was super long. Now on to sport number 8, we have cricket. A common theme I see with cricket players like MS Dhoni, Andre Russell, Virat Kohli, and Sunil Narine. I'm sorry if I pronounced any of those wrong, by the way. But they all seem to have like a fade on the sides and more hair like on the top. Sort of like a faux hawk kind of look. And I honestly really like this hairstyle for cricket, because it's the type of hairstyle that'll stay in place whenever you're playing, and it simply just looks pretty good. My only recommendation is to make sure that the top isn't too long, so that it's just in your face whenever you're trying to play. And I'd also recommend to use a styling product like a pomade to get some texture on the top. So how I would personally do it if I had this haircut is I'd get about a dime size of pomade, emulsify it in my hands, and then scrunch that pomade into the top of my hair. Then just let it dry, and then you should have a super stylish and super texturized faux hawk. Now on to sport number 9, we have martial arts. The best hairstyle for martial arts is long hair. Tie that long hair up, and if you can grow a beard, grow a beard. And honestly, I don't really have a good reason for this, I guess, except the fact that you just look like a badass anime character. Now, in terms of how you should tie your hair up, I'd say go with the messier man bun, because it's a lot more relaxed and kind of natural looking. I mean, just think about it. If you're trying to go for a super clean, super sleek man bun, once you start moving around and getting all sweaty, it'll just end up messing up, so you might as well just put it in the wavy man bun to start. And like I said, if you can grow a full beard, do it. But if you can't, that's totally fine. The messy man bun still looks sick even without a beard. Now on to sport number 10, we have rugby. So if you watch or play rugby, you already know what the most popular hairstyle is. I don't even gotta tell you. The mullet. I know there's so many freaking mullets on this list. It surprised me when I was making it, but that's just how things are. What else can I say? So if you are wanting to go for a mullet, I highly suggest doing a modern mullet, which means a fade on the sides. But if I played rugby, I personally would go with the Jordan Reiki cut, because if you look at it, it's kind of a really short mullet. Kinda, hear me out. I could see how it looks more like a burst fade or like a textured fringe, but there's a fade on the side and it's pretty top heavy, so it sort of looks like a modern mullet. But whatever it is, looks really good. That's what I would personally rock. And now you know the best and most practical hairstyle for every single sport, so you can now pick out the sport you play, get that haircut, and your performance is gonna be top tier.